Yeah, they're more interested in putting Wenger's statue up than they are decorating the stadium and the fan that goes
well,
in it.
Yes, that's another podcast because he's refused to come to.
He's refused to go. Fuck it. We'll do 5 minutes on that. What do you make of that? He's refused to go. David Dean's come out. Anybody who doesn't know this, Wenger's going to get a statue outside the ground. Yeah. And listen, as much as I can't stand the geezer, and I think he's a massive, massive reason why modern football is completely fucked. Yeah. And fourth is a trophy and all of that. He did do some great things for this football club, and rightly so, deserves a trophy for that, i.e. a statue. Right? It's a fair play to him. He's going to get his statue. But because he didn't like the fact that he was forced out of the club, yeah, and wasn't offered a job upstairs, he feels very salty over that. Doesn't matter that he nicked over 100 million out the club. Do you know what I mean? His bank balance is very, very, very big. Let's be real. The last decade, he was nicking 10 million quid a year. 11 million quid a year for the last 10, right? That's 100 million quid. Let's say he's got a great accountant. He's still going to have paid maybe nearly half of that in tax. So he's still pocketed 50 mil after tax, right? And he's salty because he didn't get offered a job upstairs. Mate, I think you've had enough out of us, don't you think? Yeah, and he don't want to come to the unveiling of his statue. David Dean said the other day, oh, he still feels very hurt by it. Okay, well, I feel very hurt that we had to fucking listen to you tell everyone fourth's a trophy, and now a generation later, fourth's apparently a trophy still. Yeah, what happened to the arson that took over and wanted to win titles? Yeah, do you know what I mean? But what do you make of it all, Jez?
Mate, I could go into a serious one here, but I'm not going to because I think it's disgraceful. Absolutely bloody disgraceful. That guy changed Arsenal Football Club to the point that a certain Herbert Chapman changed Arsenal Football Club and invented a new form of football that is still played today. And what Arsene Wenger achieved was amazing. And I'll give him utmost credit. I love the man, but he also took this club apart. The absolute bullshit that we ended up, we're moving to the Emirates to compete with the best. Really? Have we ever competed with the best? Oh, yeah, getting smashed 5-1 by Munich.
8-2. Old Trafford. 6-0 on his 1000th game.
Yeah, I don't see that. The guy took his pedal off the gas. Let's be honest. He was quite happy to have taken his 10, 11 million pound a year and go along the rocky road, force a trophy. We're in the Champions League. It's all happy at home, people. Let's get the big wines out. Let's get the roast beef out. We're all happy and it's all nice. No, bollocks. The guy pissed me off. And if he doesn't turn up, sod him. I don't care. I hope nobody turns up failing. But we know we know we'll wheel out Ian Wright. We'll wheel out people like Martin Keown.
Keown will be there. Ray Parlour will be there. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, AFTV will be there with all their bullshit.
Yeah.
And we'll have all that bullshit.
It'll be another Wenger love fest.
Yeah, it will be. And there'll be all the kids wanking behind the statue, and it's pathetic. Sorry.
But I totally agree with you. But there's a lad in the chat, and big up Tyrone. Yeah, I appreciate you watching, mate. You totally disagree with everything we're saying, but at least you're watching and commenting, mate, and being not a prick about it. You're being respectful with it. Wenger was never going to be able to compete once that stadium had been built. The board lied to the fans. So did Arsene Wenger, mate. And if anyone believes that stadium was built so we could go and compete with the best in the world, you're too far gone. Like, real talk. The only reason we moved to that stadium was for two reasons. The globalization of football, Premier League football, because it was now starting to be beamed around the world. Yeah, in more and more countries. I remember somebody said in my chat, I think he was Indian, said that the year that we moved into that stadium, Premier League was beamed into their stadium, into their houses. Yeah. And then America and Canada and Singapore, Australia, So the globalization of football, they knew that was coming anyway. And the second reason was the Super League.
Yes.
They're the only two reasons we moved from Highbury to this stadium, because they knew that we could make an absolute fortune. And if they played it right, they could finesse people, right? And at the time, they could finesse us because we were the best team in the league. Yeah, 2002, when Peter Hillwood came out and said, we've got the finance from Barclays for Ashburton Grove, we were champions. Yeah, we were champions. Yeah, and it was like, or on the cusp of being champions. Can't remember exactly when it was in 02. Maybe we were champions. I don't know. But I remember.
Yeah, they changed the badge, didn't it? They changed the name badge.
Yeah. But again, why did they take the Latin writing off of it? Yeah, because it doesn't appeal to a global fan base. Yeah, because not everyone is Latin. Yeah, not everyone adheres and worships and looks on Latin as great. Not everyone does. Everyone's got their own faith and religion and backgrounds. Of course they have, yeah. Right? But this is the thing. If you look how many football clubs have changed their badge in the last 20 years, and if you look how many football clubs have taken off Latin writing off of their badge, which is big up to Everton, because as far as I know, they've still got theirs on there, right?
That would change. Once they move to their new ground.
100%. They need to appeal to more fans.
It's going to, and I think that's the thing with this whole situation with going football. Again, it's a case of can't put the genie in the bottle. But in terms of Arsene Wenger, he's very happy to go to, was it the Palladium, and have everyone there, like Ian Wright, Alex Scott. But a statue he agreed to.
Yeah,
he agreed to it because he commissioned that. He agreed for it to be commissioned. I understand why he did it. I can understand the hurt, and he's probably angry at fans like us who are calling for his sacking. But one thing about my motto, and the reason why the club is a star came about in terms of my mind and why I created that about 6 years ago. 6 years ago, is because of Arsene Wenger, because of Arsene Wenger fans who made out this man was bigger than our great club, and I wasn't standing for that. And that's the thing. Tony Adams turned up to his unveiling. Henri got most unveiling, and so did Dennis. Herbert couldn't shout about it. But all I can say to Arsene Wenger, let me tell you one thing, right? And this is I'm ripping off an advert, a milk advert. But if the way Arsene Wenger's fans go on, and the way Wenger encourages is Herbert Chapman, George Graham, who are they exactly? Accrington Stanley, who are they? That's exactly, who they are. There's a man, born in Coatbridge in 1944, who deserves a statue, and is not even getting a sniff in a statue, and yet we're indulging someone's refusing to go. When George Graham was one of the guys who laid foundations for this for Arsene Wenger to become one of our greatest managers, yet he gets nothing. He managed Spurs, or he took a bit of a bung. Boo-hoo. Every manager on the take. And he went to Spurs. Oh, right, we've got Pat Jennings from Spurs. He's got a suite.
We've got Sol Campbell from Spurs.
Yeah, but Pat Jennings has got a suite after him. He's a match
day. Yeah,
and he was still living in Broxbourne when he was Arsenal goalkeeper for 8 years, and he was still a Tottenham fan. He was there goalkeeper. So George Graham, one of the biggest gooners out there. You go to his house in Winchmore Hill. He's got a marble floor with a club. Yet we can't give him some sort of recognition. We're begging
quality manager. Mad, isn't it?
We're begging Wenger to come to an unveiling that he agreed to in the first place. Drop me out of this.
100%. I totally agree with you, Kenny. I think that just sums him up. Yeah, it sums him up. Right. And when people talk about George Graham took a little brown envelope, and took a backhander. Yeah. This guy was on the take left, right, and centre. Yeah, this guy was conning the whole fucking footballing world that we couldn't compete. Yeah, because we had the stadium to pay. Getting Champions League football paid that stadium. It was 20 million quid a year. Gary Neville, I'll never forget this, sat on Sky Sports and said he's done a remarkable job because that stadium had to be paid off and it's very close to be paying off. Really? I'm pretty sure the Cronkies paid 240 million remaining debt and financed it into their own name about 4 years ago. So what remarkable job was he doing apart from trousering 11 million quid a year? while telling everyone we can't compete financially when actually we could. Selling our best players every year. Telling Adi Bayor, when he come back after 30 odd goals the season before, you're in the reserves, mate. If you don't go to Man City. Yeah, at the time I was like, he snaked us. He's gone Man City. Yeah, cool, fair enough. Yeah, but then when it comes out and he sits on and does a 14-page spread in a newspaper and tells exactly what happened, you think, well, maybe he is still lying. But then when Van Persie comes out and says it on BT Sport, the exact same shit happened to him. Yeah, like, come on. Yeah, 20 million quid a year that stadium cost, right? And Champions League qualification paid for that. So where's the money? Where did the money go?
Where's it all gone, the money?
Exactly. Where did it go? He had shares in the club, which he sold to Kroenke. Yeah, I'm convinced he was getting a percentage of player sales. Sean Dyche was on that deal at Burnley. So if he was on that at Burnley, he definitely was at Arsenal.
Oh,
yeah, when we're getting players in dirt cheap and selling them like Anelka. Now, Anelka's slightly different. Maybe that's a bad example because Anelka wanted to go. Yeah, but when you're getting like
Barry Monk, remember when he went to Middlesbrough, he was encouraged. He was basically ordering players to go with his agent because he can get so he can get a percentage of their fees if they ever get sold. So, you know, the fact is, a lot of money was transferred out of clubs and out of football into executives' boxes. So managers like, you know, George Graham, Sir Alex Ferguson had, he didn't do it, but I know Cloughy was accused of doing it. There's loads of managers doing it. The kit man at other clubs, not saying Arsenal, don't ban me, but kit men were getting bunks. Kit men were getting bunks at football clubs.
Oh, 100%. 100%. All through that era, everyone was on it, mate. Everyone was taking money.